What is going on? Welcome to Heaven on Earth Astrology. I'm Michael, the Leo Mystic, and this is where I look at both the light and the dark. In the chart of the 28th of March until the 3rd of April, we have a new moon in Aries coming up. New beginnings, but with Chiron there, well, let's have a look at that. The Astro 201 course is finally out. It took me a whole year until I was satisfied that it had the quality for you to learn everything about the soul. This is evolutionary astrology focus. We're looking at Pluto, the nodes, at Chiron, the bridge between the 3D and the 5D, the Kundalini awakening in the chart, and really looking at where is the soul hidden in your chart, what is the karma that you bring from past lives, and what is the future for your soul that your soul really wants to experience in this ego body of us. And that, looking at that in the chart and being able to interpret it, and as always, it's not just learning astrology, it is diving deep, it is meditating, it is questioning, it is really embodying it, making a relationship and building a relationship with the stars and your own soul through mystical practices and meditations. It's not just astrology. You have to really dive deep in order to get it and embody it. It's not just something to learn from the mind. We also incorporate the heart. So check it out, Astro 201 course with me. The 1st of May, we start. There's an early bird price until the 14th of April that you can take advantage of. It is every time 2.5 hour class. It's only 4 classes. We're going to do it in 4 classes. And it's in May, 1st of May, 7th of May, 14th of May, 21st of May. There are 15 spots available, and go grab your seat right now. Link is in the description below. So we're starting off the week with the Sun in Aries and Mercury in Aries, and honestly, kind of happy that Mercury is in Aries as well, because even though the Sun was in Aries, it's kind of alone there with Chiron, and that is weird. That is awkward for ourselves. That it's like the action doesn't really go as we would like. We feel a push, we feel a pull to take that action, but it is with Chiron. It is a wound in our self-image, a wound of the warrior energy, and it is weird. So Mercury coming there now, at least it knows. Because with Mercury in Pisces, it was so confusing. And there's still a lot of confusing energy with Jupiter and Neptune there, and Jupiter closing in on Neptune. I'm going to talk about that in just a second. But just so you know, that Mercury in Aries really can streamline a little bit better that action. So that it's good. It's, you know, we feel that push, that pull towards, you know, taking that action. But honestly, I would wait to be fully, like, with the new moon in Aries, to fully take a new action. But we're gonna have to do a couple of things in order for it to be successful. And we have the moon currently traveling through Aquarius, on Venus, on Saturn, squaring the nose. Oh my God, that is so weird with Aquarian energy. This is really about individualization. Let me be very clear about that. We are individualizing, we are rebelling, we are just going away from the traditional. What is that traditional about? Jupiter is closing in on Neptune. It is about old beliefs, 170 years cycle of religion, of beliefs, of, you know, Christianity that was pretty much the reigning religion of the last, well, 170 years. But that's changing so much. It has been overtaken by science, obviously, the last, I would say, 30 maybe years or so. And so that is kind of the new belief that is being established. But it's also spirituality in the broadest sense of the word, in the sense of people, you know, open for something new, open for an experience, open for meditative experiences, open for there to be something new. And also the new sort of science of quantum physics and coming together with the, you know, the old tribes and our ancestors. And so there's so many streams, though, that we can take into account. But I would say Jupiter closing in on Neptune closes that cycle of, you know, suffering in order to get to the promised land and the Christ, you know, as your savior, which it is, but not in the sense that the Catholics or the Catholic Church has been teaching us. So a God up there in the skies and you feeling judged and being judged and all of that has to go. But there's going to be a dark moon on Jupiter and Neptune, closing in on Neptune. So it's going to bring up all of that. It's going to bring all of that conditioned beliefs about who God is, what God is, and, you know, not even for some people at that level, at the level of the, you know, where you place your God. You know, who's your God? Is your spouse your God? Is, yeah, I don't know, your dog your God? Which is funny because dog, God, anyway. These are how the things go on in my head. But, you know, or it is the government that is the God, but you don't really call it God, but it is in a sense where you put your trust, where you put your faith, where you put your beliefs, where you put your essence of self, somewhere outside, more than yourselves. And so, you know, there's confusion, and there could be cycles of confusion and clarity around that. So it's closing in, and it is gonna, you know, somewhere around 16th of April or 19th of April is where Jupiter starts a new cycle with Neptune. So we got about 3 weeks of that confusion, clarity cycle, what God is, and you know, whether we have to suffer in order to be happy and to go to the promised land, or whether the promised land is here. So we are right now with Venus on Saturn learning to individualize, and it's going to, you know, whatever that we want and whatever that we, you know, go get that we want, which is Mars, which is a ruling planet right now, that, well, not the ruling planet, but it's a very active planet, Mars, that is being, you know, there's a break on there because we got Mars conjunct Saturn, closing in on Saturn. Venus, that starts a new cycle with Saturn, which is about a new chance to establish responsible actions around what you want in your relationships, with money. So all of that confusion around money too is gonna, you know, people have been having confusion about what to do with the money, and what to do with values, and what to do with possessions. But that's going to start a new cycle, and we're going to take on new responsibilities around money, around relationships, and all those things. But just to tell you that whatever it is that you want, whatever it is that you go get that you want, there's delays on that, and it needs an action plan. So I think that's the most important thing. We are bumping into walls. We're bumping into authority checks. Have you checked this first? First, upload this photo, you know, and go and get your ID and whatever. It's like, oh my God, so annoying to get that check. But it is necessary for us to check in on ourselves and to get real on what we want, to get real on our desires. And it's so important now, building up to that new moon, to do a couple of things. One, get an action plan. But two, also, that's what that new moon on Chiron is going to be about. What do we believe, right? And do we really check in within ourselves? First, that dark moon in Pisces on Jupiter and Neptune. Really, really deeply inside ourselves. What do I believe? Not believe, but believe, like embody and is true, and checking in with our environment and inside our environment and aligning that, synchronizing those frequencies as much as we can possibly as human beings. But, you know, in order to allow a new truth to be established that comes deeply from within ourselves. That is going to Sun, Chiron conjunction with that new moon and Mercury, a realization of what we need to do in order to be a new identity. What's that new identity going to be about? It's about a new identity, forming a new identity. Aries, me, the warrior energy. It's so weird. New moon on Chiron. There's a whole month of us needing to face that wound, us needing to face the wound of taking action where we can't, where we feel that we are not worthy, where we feel that we fail in life. And it's about facing that, it's about healing that. And with the Mercury Cazimi there, on that new moon, on Chiron, it's about a realization about who you truly are and what you really want and how you go get it, but with an action plan. And the beauty about this new moon is that it has a quintile over to Pluto, which is the potential of incorporating your soul creatively and aligning the soul and the ego in a creative way. So that is huge. They're like that identity crisis that inevitably is going to form if we truly follow our soul's lessons, if we truly step into what our soul is telling us. And that's why you need to know evolutionary astrology. That's why that Astro 201 course comes just on time. But even if you can't join the Astro 201 course, then, you know, book a chart reading to know what your soul is. And if you know, you look at Pluto, you know what type of soul it is, and you know how to interpret your own chart, then do that. But that's the beauty about astrology. It shows you what your soul has been doing and what it wants to focus on right now. And if you follow that, and if you just pay attention to that, then you're going to advance so much, and you can incorporate that new parts of yourself. There's opportunities to establish, parts of our soul into our new identity, and that's creating our dharma, and that's huge. And then on Sunday we got the moon in Taurus on Uranus, waking us up to all the new opportunities and possibilities that we're going to have right in front of us in order to establish that new identity and ground it. But there will always be a pull from the past, especially with Chiron. We might not fully believe our own identity, but it is about believing that we can have that identity. It is such a paradox, but it is about stepping into that warrior, and it is more difficult than any other Aries season though. So it's about doing it, realizing that that wound is there, and it's about letting it be healed by parts of the soul. Are you an Aries soul? Are you a Taurus soul? A Gemini soul? Cancer soul? Leo soul? Etc., etc. And if you want to learn about those lessons of that soul, I really encourage you to either book a chart reading or look at it for yourself, or just go and come and join us in the Astro Course 201 in May. All right, so check that out, and I'm going to wish you the best week ever, and here's to new beginnings and in starting to heal the wounded warrior within us all. And I think if we can do that, and if we can all have our strong ego, strong identity, then we're going to realize what our potential is, what our creative, potentials are, which are infinite and is not limited to what they're making us believe, and that it is just about earning money, and it is about, doing your job 9 to 5 and living in your house. And there's so much more that can be done, especially in community. Venus conjunct Saturn. This is really the time for community building and creating an ego as a community. So think about that. See you next week. Much love. Good luck. Bye-bye.